Structuring Student Success, Construction and Design to Support Student Success Online by Elena Tackett and Morgan Gresham. Difficulty completing course readings was impacting online learning in ENC 1101 and 1102. In response, we scaffolded reading through collaborative readings, reading quizzes, and discussion posts. Student feedback on scaffolded reading in online sections has been positive, and the approach can be used across formats. In spring 19, USF shifted to remote delivery in week 10 of the term. After the shift, we heard from students who were struggling with the transition and learning to learn remotely. Despite the fact that no readings were added when we shifted to remote delivery, students complained about the increased load and thought that reading assignments had been added. Both 1101 and 1102 include 2 reading assignments each week, which serve as the main source of content delivery. Students who said they were not struggling before the transition reported struggling with the content after the shift to remote delivery. After talking to students and instructors, we realized that many students who were able to get by without reading and supplement their learning with class discussion were now required to complete the reading. For Fall 20, all ENC 1101 and 1102 sections were offered fully online. Students who would not have self-selected in any online sections found themselves in a number of online sections. With that, and what we learned from spring remote delivery in mind, we modified our courses to support success online by helping students complete the readings and learn the related skills. Building on the standard scaffolding included in the flipped curriculum of our face-to-face design, we expanded the scaffolding to emphasize reading as a sequenced process step across the term. We scaffolded the readings by adding reading quizzes and discussion posts. Taken together, the collaborative readings allow students to make comments on the content readings with their peers, and reading quizzes and discussion posts allow students to earn points for engaging the readings. Scaffolding assignments, writing assignments in particular, by breaking them into process steps is a well-known best practice. Scaffolding can structure skill-building activities through low-stakes tasks that deepen comprehension, practice application, and construct larger assignments. Scaffolded writing assignments often begin with construction by submitting a topic, outline, annotated bibliography, or early draft. Starting at this point in the process overlooks the opportunity to focus on a key component of student success: reading. It is easy to assume students know how to read, specifically that they know how to locate relevant sources, read them closely and critically for comprehension, identify key elements, and connect them to the assignment. When we assume students can and are reading, we are assuming that they have developed skills in relation to research, critical thinking, annotation, summary, integration, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation as situated within our discipline and the course content. We also assume students have the time management skills needed to prioritize reading, which we find vital to learning and success, but they may find difficult, boring, or unnecessary, and ultimately not worth any points and possible to skip. When we assign reading without a point value, we are acting on those assumptions about students and sending the message that reading is pointless. If students have and are practicing these skills on content readings or other assigned texts, why not provide them with points in peer interaction? If some students do not have or are not applying these skills, including scored steps in our scaffolded structure will help them practice the process. The first step in scaffolding our reading is collaborative reading. Collaborative reading allows students to comment on the readings with their peers and encourages them to engage the reading and practice active reading strategies. It allows students to work together to hone the skills of annotating and identifying key terms and critical concepts. It also allows students to ask their peers questions and help each other by answering questions, adding context, and taking a leadership role. In online sections, it is especially important to create opportunities for students to interact with their peers, and collaborative reading gives them a peer audience so that students don't see instructors as their only audience. Collaborative reading allows instructors to direct student reading by adding comments on the reading that demonstrate annotating techniques and ask leading questions to highlight key terms and takeaways. It creates opportunities for instructors to discuss reading approaches and techniques and demonstrate close reading practices. It also allows instructors to identify students who are not completing the reading and provide intervention opportunities. Reading that is actively engaged and instructor-mediated is considered direct faculty instruction in an online course instead of passive content delivery. Here is an example of a collaborative reading doc with student comments. Students are required to comment on all the readings. We tried Perusall, which had some advantages, but Google Docs has worked best. Instructors are not encouraged to go back and read, comment on, or respond to student comments. Feedback is offered in Canvas as part of the discussion post, which is where points are assigned. Audio is also available so students can read along and comment. Each reading has a time on task estimate, which is the time it takes the instructor to read or record multiplied by 1.5 to 3. Students can use it to plan and are encouraged to pay attention to their time and plan breaks as they learn their reading patterns. They are also encouraged to contact their instructor if something is taking considerably more time than estimated, and to stick with the task if they haven't put in the estimated amount of time. In addition to content readings, popular and scholarly articles are also annotated and submitted as an assignment with point value. Assigned articles and texts students locate to use as source material are saved in Google Docs as a PDF and annotated. Reading grids that include all the readings from the term are also constructed and submitted. They can be assigned as a scaffolded step in the process, or they can be submitted with the final paper or in a packet or portfolio. Each reading also includes a reading quiz. The reading quizzes are designed to facilitate comprehension of course content. Understanding the reading material is essential to successful completion of the assignments. Quizzes highlight important points from each reading. Feel free to reference the readings as you work on the quiz. Reading quizzes are not timed and can be taken once. The goal is not to test comprehension or retention, but to facilitate reading, help students identify important elements, and provide points for the time and effort students put into reading. All quizzes are due at the same times and days each week and are automatically graded in Canvas. Answers become visible after all quizzes are due. We try to make the answer to D funny. After students comment on the readings and complete the reading quiz, they submit a discussion post in Canvas. Write a one-paragraph summary of Reading 2.1. Provide 3 direct quotes from 2.1 that you think are key takeaways. What comment did you make on the 2.1 doc? Review your peers' comments, quote one comment, and explain why it is useful. What questions do you have for your instructor? These are low-stakes assignments, but they add up over the term and create a foundation of points. The questions are the same for all readings and are due the same days and times each week. Some instructors require students to submit before they can see their peers' posts, and others do not, but all discussion posts are threads so that students have a peer audience. Evaluation should be approached as a check minus, but it can be useful to answer question 5, especially in online courses where it can provide a regular channel of communication. These posts deepen content comprehension and allow students to practice summary, even citing if you want, which is very valuable. Students can also go back and review their summaries in subsequent projects or terms. Most of the readings culminate in a constructed response task designed to foster active learning by practicing a skill related to the reading. These tasks are still relatively low stakes and can include individual and peer activities in the form of reflection, self-review, peer review, revision, and results. They can also be connected to the course or program SLOs and general education criteria, which makes them accessible for program evaluation and broad assessment. They scaffold to a major written assignment and demonstrate the value of process approach, which students are encouraged to develop into a personal process that transfers across their courses. The constructed response tasks are also due at the same times on the same days every week. The consistent design provides a stable structure across the term that scaffolds skills and crescendos to major assignments. Reading, quiz, post, task. Reading, quiz, post, task. Online courses do not allow students to pick up content during in-class discussions and peer conversations, which many students may have used as a way to supplement or circumvent assigned means of content delivery. Including process steps that scaffold reading allows students to earn points for reading, provides peer interaction, helps students avoid falling behind, creates intervention opportunities, signals the importance of completing content readings, and teaches close and critical reading. Scaffolding readings prepares students for success in the subsequent tasks and the assignments and the projects they feed, which can support online learning and overall student success. Elements of these scaffolded reading steps can be utilized independently. Standard scaffolding can be expanded to include the submission of any course readings or lectures. If you assign an outline or annotated bibliography, students could submit one annotated article a week for a few weeks before the annotated bibliography is due. If you are using textbooks and do not have access to PDFs or digital copies, you can still have students write summaries, share key takeaways, and post comments in a thread. Collaborative notes work too. All students can keep reading notes in a shared doc, which allows them to learn from each other actively and passively. Scaffolding reading can provide structure and support for online sections and increase peer interaction among students. It can also ground hybrid or high-flex sections or facilitate a flipped classroom for face-to-face sections. The structure of scaffolded readings with assignments submitted before class meetings helps students get more out of class discussions and activities. In all cases, the load of grading must be considered as part of the design. Our student surveys for this term are overwhelmingly positive, and we will continue tracking outcomes and connections. For now, we feel confident inviting our colleagues to explore these approaches and to consider how these and other elements of course design can support students who are new to or struggling with online learning.